Welcome back to Small Caps. My name is Jess Fertig and I'm delighted to welcome back Rita Brooks. Rita is the Exec Chair of Tambourah Metals Limited and the ASX ticker code is TMB. Hi Rita, it's great to have you back on the show.
Hi Jess, thank you for asking me.
So Rita, you've just completed drilling at BT Park. Mm-hmm. How significant are those follow-up results or holes, especially with the historic results that you have from there and also with the gold price above $2,000?
I think the gold price, it's over $3 now, but historically...
$3 now?
Yes.
Yes, historically over 2,000, yes.
In the 1990s, gold was only $500 or less, and they drilled significant 5 metres at 22 grams and 4 metres at 16 grams. So we've gone back to look at those holes and actually trying to put together how that geology fits in. There's significant drilling, but it was not enough to interest them in the early 90s. But with a price now above $3,000 US, which is 5,000 Australian, it's very significant to be able to find something of 5 metres at 22 grams. So we've done one aircore program. We're waiting on those results in the next 2 weeks, and I'll be interested in telling your listeners about that once we get them, because that's first a drill program that we've done in that area. We have 6 projects now. We're within, there's about the Harmony gold mine is located less than 20 kilometres half an hour further northeast. And then there's the Peak Hill, which is several million ounces as well. So we're within a region where there's known big deposits, and we're back in that Meekatharra region.
Yeah, fantastic, Rita. And apologies about the gold price. Yes, of course, You're right. Over 3,000. Anyway, Rita, moving forward. So antimony sampling is underway at your Speedway North project. Why is antimony a key focus for the company? And what are you hoping to see from those upcoming results?
Again, in February this year, we moved into Speedway North. It was approved by a general meeting, because historically, since the early 90s, fluorite was noted in Speedway, and a lot of the drilling was for gold at the Speedway Dome. So this ground in particular had high antimony in a lot of the drilling results, and also over 300 grams of silver, but silver was less than $3. So the antimony silver is obviously maybe they're together. We've got to follow up with that drilling, but a lot of the recorded information had rock chip samples of 4% and 7% antimony, and then there was noted in the drill logs extensive antimony at 9 metres. When they didn't sample for the antimony, they were sampling for the gold, and the gold results weren't high enough to justify the next round of drilling for them. But we'll be going back, and we're doing our drill plan at the moment. The results will be due in the next 2 weeks for the rock chip sampling, so we're verifying that on the ground. It's located only 110 kilometres southeast of Kununurra, and we adjoin the fluorite deposit that Sumitomo have just signed on with Tivan. So that fluorite deposit is a significant critical mineral, and Sumitomo are going to partner with Tivan to develop that. Tivan received a $7 million grant from the federal government to accelerate this project. So we're in an area where there is development, and with antimony in this particular, and the silver, high-grade silver, we're looking at hopefully having a good resource development project.
Yeah, fantastic, Rita. So you're in a really, really good location over there with development projects. So obviously it'll be very positive for the area as a whole. Now I'm just jumping around your prospects at the moment. So you've just begun bulk sampling at your Tambina prospect or project in the Pilbara. What's the objective there with that project, and how does it sort of fit in with your broader gold strategy?
The region in the Pilbara has, there's 2 mills within 80 kilometres of our projects at Tambina and Tambourah. So the Tambourah is our flagship gold project with over 20 prospects, but the Tambina has recently been granted in the last year, and it's a prospecting lease that was a mining lease that had been used for alluvial sampling. So there was a lot of sulphides. The potential was 10 to 20,000 ounces, and that was 20 years ago, but they couldn't treat it because they didn't have the capacity. But now, to be able to process it 80 kilometres away, anything we find we should be able to mine and mill. So instead of having to look at those sort of from a prospecting point of view, 5,000 ounces was a prospector's project 20 years ago, but these days 20,000 ounces is $25 million Australian. So it could be a company maker, but we've just got to start with the bulk sampling to see with follow-up work and see what's there.
Yeah, absolutely. Scale at these gold prices isn't nearly as important, I suppose, where you can really make big bang for your buck, even with a smaller resource. Now, talking about resources and defining a resource, the company's preparing to do some diamond drilling at your Tambourah Goldfield project. So can you just give our audience a bit of an idea of like what the potential is over there, and is there potential to define a resource at that project?
At Tambourah in particular, we've got over 20 historical mines. They were 1 ounce a tonne gold mines in the 1890s. So with over 20 prospects, we've only drilled 5 of them. The Tambourah King is where we want to isolate, or it will be our first resource of 20,000 ounces that we're working towards. And in particular, it's high grade. So we're trying to work with the next round of drilling to have some positive pathway to resource identification. And that is, we had 1 metre at 77 grams. So it's only at 59 metres deep, and it's spread over. So there's been quite a lot of those hits, and I think the potential to follow up, even developing. These days you do an open cut, but in the old days, the old timers didn't have the consolidation of this area. They were spread over 30 different owners for 9 hectares per piece. So we're drilling with a big view and a big picture, and we're back on the ground hopefully by next week, and we'll be defining the next follow-up.
So interesting, Rita. Now, you mentioned there's over 20 historic gold prospects at Tambourah, and you've really only touched the surface in terms of those targets. What sort of upside do you see for specific targets in terms of, Alexandria and the Young Australian? And I love the names of those targets, by the way.
It's amazing. Yeah, we haven't changed any of the names. So you could imagine all the people that lived at Tambourah, in the 1890s, 1910. By 1910, it was a lot of people, prospectors had all gone down to Kalgoorlie, and they left Tambourah. But we have 4 metres at 2 grams, and it's from 20 metres deep. So this gold mineralisation there, it's north-south, but there's several lines. So if it wasn't on the surface, they didn't follow it up. And so for us drilling, we've got a blank canvas at depth, 1 metre at 2 grams from 22 metres, and 1 metre at 0.8 from 13. So we've got these targets that are defined. From the last drill there was in the only drilling that I can see historically was in 1980. So that's 40 years ago now. So again, being able to find and define and extend this Tambourah King resource will make we've applied for a mining lease at the same time, so we're proceeding with that as well as drilling this resource.
And just to recap, Rita, that was 1 metre at 77 grams per tonne at your Tambourah King.
Correct.
That's so heaps of high-grade gold potential there, and only really touched the surface, so plenty of upside.
Just lastly, at the Federal, which is one of the other ones, we got some grade at 40 metres, but at 110 we had 1.5 grams. So we ended in mineralisation, but those grams, people mine a gram these days. It doesn't have to be an ounce a tonne. So yeah, there's a lot of depth there that we have to encourage with our drill targeting, and the diamond drilling is the follow up with a grant that will help allay some of the cost. So we're good. We're focused on what we're doing, but we want to end up with ounces.
Yeah, and the diamond drilling is certainly going to help delineate, potential resource, hopefully.
Yes.
So now, Rita, with all of this, so much happening across your portfolio, how critical is this entitlement offer that you have open at the moment? I believe it closes on the 7th of July.
Yes.
What should investors know right now with this entitlement offer open right now?
The entitlement offer was open to existing shareholders, and they got an option to convert at 0.4 cents. So the share was 0.02 cents, but so we haven't had that all that news flow because of the entitlement offer. So when that closes, investors will see that we'll be putting out some of these results that I've been speaking about, and so I think we're flying under the radar at the moment.
Yeah, and to just end off with that. As you said, you're flying under the radar at the moment, plenty of news flow coming up. You've got your drilling at the moment. You've got some, sampling underway, heaps of exploration at multiple prospects. Can you leave our investors, with 2 or 3 key highlights as to why Tambourah Metal should be on their stock watch list?
I think we're in the Meekatharra region is one of the hot gold areas at the moment, and we've got over 5 projects to the north of Meekatharra within that Bria Basin. We targeted that in the last 2 years, so we're slowly getting that ground granted. We're coming into a time when gold has accelerated and the area is producing brilliant results for a lot of other projects to the south of us. So we're looking at Bria, but our existing extension of Tambourah is our flagship, and to define resource ounces there, we'd be able to have them treated maybe at a mill 80 kilometres away. So that's a fast track to production. And lastly, the Chinese limit and supply of all critical minerals, but including antimony, means that our Speedway North project is one to watch out for.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much, Rita. It's always lovely to catch up with you, and some really exciting news flow up ahead. Drilling at the moment, diamond drilling, plenty of results and news flow to hopefully have Tambourah not flying under the radar, but plenty of news flow for investors to see, and also the entitlement offer, which closes on the 7th. So investors, get in there.
Good. Thank you very much, Jess, and thank you for your time. Hopefully,
Thanks,
I'll be back with more news of these results. Thank you.